again on Monday. Whilst I think about it, if you are part of the live gang, whenever you're watching this, if you're part of the live gang, remember that next week, which is the whatever date it is, next Monday, bank holiday, so we're not having a class on the Monday night. It will be on the Tuesday evening instead. I will do my best to remember to email you all. So no class on the bank holiday Monday, but it will be Tuesday night instead. So we are going to continue on our theme that we started last week, which was our twists and how we can use twists to really get connected to our practice, to really get connected to our bodies, and to really get connected to our breath, but in a slightly different way than we connect with breath, I think, in other poses. Primarily because, and I mentioned this last week, when we are twisting, your breath gets restricted. It's inevitably harder to breathe. So when you notice that something is more difficult, I think you inevitably, perhaps the connection is more obvious to it. We're working with the spine in one of the less used frame ways of movement, I think, in our practices. I think generally in our practices we can concentrate so much on forward bending, so much on backward bending, that, and I'm as guilty for this as anyone, quite often we don't even get like a twist in a practice, even though I'm guilty. I call it a full body practice. You'll get to the end, however well I've planned it, and suddenly go, haven't actually done a twist. And twists are so good because we have to remember that our spine, which has, I'm still not confident enough, 23 bones, 32. It was the right numbers in the wrong order. It's been a long day. 32 bones. Where did 23 come from? What did I think we are? 32 bones. Remember, there is articulation in all different directions. Admittedly, some are a lot more subtle and trickier to access than the forward and the backwards. But we want to, if we really want to keep our bodies mobile, if that's what we come to our practice for, and if it's all about the physical stuff, that's totally fine, then we need to make sure we are moving things on every plane that it should be moving on as possible. When we think about connection and our spine, in every twist, we'll continue working on what we did last week, which is remembering that the pelvis needs to be on the same page as whatever is happening in the spine. So we're not fixing the spine, we're not fixing the pelvis and then moving the spine. We're allowing the pelvis just to move a little in whatever direction the rest of us is going. We're again going to think of creating each twist from the bottom through the middle to the top. We're going to be thinking about using our core, the stuff on the inside, to switch on so that we are supporting the spine as we move. Yes, sometimes we then put our hands down, but I want the twist to be already kind of fully formed, because you don't want to be muscling into twists. And it can be very tempting, I think, particularly with twists, to use your arms to kind of lever yourself into it, which is not ideal. And it normally means that all you're moving is the top part of the spine rather than the whole thing anyway. But I want you to try and remember, as well as all of this stuff, that we want evenness through our twists, through all of our poses, but particularly twists. So even though the level of articulation depends on which bit of the spine you're working on, you want the twist to feel even. Just like every yoga pose, yes, you will feel muscles working in different ways, but there's got to be an evenness through it so that no bit feels like it's being cranked around more than another bit. And remember, the spine goes right the way down from your tailbone. Admittedly, that bit's not going to be moving in the twist, but right the way up, you can kind of think of it, to the space between your ears. So again, in twists, there can be a tendency to kind of think, well, as long as I'm looking as far over my right shoulder as possible, the rest of the twist must be going that way as well. Now you're probably just giving yourself a headache. So we're going to try and think of evenness and building the twists from the bottom up. Remember, final point, as well as forward and backwards bending, the spine has axial extension as well. So we're going to be working on lifting and lengthening before we go into our poses. I think I've given you way too much stuff to try and remember. So I'll stop talking now and we'll just get moving. That sounds like a plan to me. So get yourself sitting comfortably whilst we breathe. As ever, if you've got blocks handy, they are really useful for twisting practices, particularly when we have a hand on the floor, being able to ground that hand so that you can then use that to twist and turn, not force, but use it to twist, can be really handy. So grab it if you've got one. If not, don't worry about it. And come down to whatever kind of seated position works for you and your body tonight. Remember, it can be cross-legged, it can be bent knees and elbows hooked around the knees and sitting up tall. You can even do this lying down if you want, as long as you promise not to fall asleep. But get yourself sitting comfortably. Palms can turn down or palms can turn up. I want you to very gently, once you're ready, let the eyes fall closed. Get all of the fidgeting out of your system now, or as much as you're able. So if as you settle, you think, oh, actually, hang on, this isn't great, make that decision now and then settle yourself back into stillness. Whenever you're ready, take a big breath in through the nose and sigh it out. Do that at least twice more. And each time you do it, with each exhale, consider letting go of something. You don't even have to know what it is you might be letting go of. Just imagine how it would feel to let go of something that doesn't serve you. The more stuff you can let go of, the less there is to carry, the easier it is to move, the more freedom you can find in your body and in your head. And I know it sounds simple, but we know it isn't. So imagine how it would feel to let go of something with each exhale and begin to get a sense of arriving into this space, into this time. Recognize that a whole load of stuff has happened in your day. Recognize that there is still plenty of time for more stuff to come. But for now, this is your practice. This is your time. This is when you press the pause button on it all. And of course, it will all still be there for you when you step off your mat. But it doesn't need your attention now. Thinking about it now is not going to change it. So this is your time to connect into this moment. And to perhaps begin to see how in this moment, it's actually the only place you can really be. This moment is all there is. So tune into how you feel, tune into what your energy levels are like. We begin this process of connecting. And of course, as you connect, stuff is gonna come up. Feelings, thoughts, criticisms. Remember, there is no right or wrong way to feel. There is just what is real for you here and now. So notice it, be aware of it. Don't try to control it or change it. So let's connect a little more. Take your awareness to that space between your ears and notice your thoughts. Notice what it is that's rolling around in your mind for you this evening. Can you notice the thoughts as an interested observer rather than an active participant? So basically, that means that you just watch them come and you watch them go. And that every time you feel like you're taking a step towards a thought, every time you feel like you're about to get engaged with a thought, you notice and you step back and you reposition yourself and you try it again. And then as you've noticed your mind, let's start very simply to connect with body. So with your awareness at the top of your head, just take a moment or two to scan down over the next 40 seconds or so. Allow the awareness to roll down from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. And again, all I want you to do is just notice. Connect and realize that you can connect without control or change. And then as you've noticed mind, as you've noticed body, let's connect to the breath. Perhaps the most important connection that we need to start with in our practice. Certainly the foundation for any of our yoga practices. So begin to connect to wherever you can most easily feel the rise of the inhale and the fall of the exhale. Remember that once you start to move, your breath is there to help you negotiate with your body. It's there to help you know if you are pushing too hard or insisting. But perhaps most importantly, it's there as the anchor for your mind to come back to. It's that anchor which connects you into this moment. All you have to do is notice the next inhale or the next exhale. So keeping that connection to your breath, either let the hands stay resting where they are or bring them into a prayer shape in front of your breastbone. You can bow the head if that feels good. And here, set your intention for your practice. And try to connect with perhaps what your heart tells you your intention should be rather than what your head tells you your intention should be. I know it's all too tempting to get carried away with the head stuff, to have your intention as I'm going to hold my downward dog for the full 5 breaths every time, or my arms in chaturanga are going to get really strong. Not their bad intentions, but can you connect perhaps with a different kind of intention tonight? Can you connect with, you know what, I just want to feel good, or I want to be more aware of when I need to rest, or I want to notice when I need to back off from a pose. Whatever your intention needs to be, set that now. But remain open-minded to the other good, positive stuff that may well come along. With that done, you can let your hands come down. You can blink your eyes open. And again, we're going to start on our backs. So make your way onto your back in any way that you feel like you wanna. Once you're down, take your knees, take your feet out so that they are around mat width apart And just let the knees kind of rest in up against each other for a moment. You can take your arms out into kind of cactus arms if that feels good to get a bit of breadth across the chest. And just pause here for a moment. And again, begin to connect. Notice the points of connection between you and the earth underneath you. Notice how everything feels a little differently now you're lying down. And continue to shift your energy from the doing mode of your day to the being mode of your practice. You can leave the arms where they are. You can take them however you want. Take the knees apart, but keep the feet nice and wide. And just let both knees drop towards your right hand side. Doesn't matter if they go all the way to the floor, they probably won't. And if your left bum cheek lifts a little bit off the floor, then that's fine. And with an inhale, bring the knees back up. And with an exhale, let them drop the other way. Keeping the feet where they are, and then just keep repeating that. Up with the inhale, down with the exhale. So you're just beginning to shift the knees from side to side. Remember, you're allowing the pelvis to move with it. And you'll probably feel a bit of a stretch across the front of the thighs, maybe a stretch up into the abdomen. And really just let the lower back move as much as it wants. Next time the knees are down one side or the other, just pause there. Let the legs be heavy. Just take a couple of extra breaths. And then bring them back up to center. Let them drop the other way. And again, pause. Notice what you're feeling. Connect with whatever is happening in your body, but remember connection with the breath. Good. Then bring the knees back up to center. Hug them in. Have a little roll from side to side. Massage. Use this rolling from side to side as an opportunity to just give the lower back a little bit of a massage on the floor. And again, notice how it connects to the floor, how you can use that connection to kind of give anything that needs a bit of a squeeze, a nice therapeutic squeeze. Then let the feet come to the floor, keep the knees bent. Bring your right ankle over to your left knee. So you're going to do reclined half pigeon. Let the right knee roll away from you. Either stay there or bring the left foot off the floor, hold around the back of the left thigh. Just begin to draw that left thigh in towards you. You can use your right elbow to keep the right knee just gently rolling out. Now, notice what's going on in your lower back. If you are pulling your legs into you so much that you have lost the natural curve in your lower back off a little bit and just allow the natural curve of the lumbar spine to remain, even though you are working with the hips. Good. Breathe here. So we're just beginning to work into that outer hip on the right hand side, because quite often our twists, well, quite always our twists need flexibility in the outer hip, or perhaps flexibility in the outer hip needs twists, however you want to look at it. Keep the legs in that shape, but release the hands and let the left hand come down to the floor. You know this pose, we've done it a bunch of times. Roll onto your left hand side so that the right foot comes down to stand on the floor. Then turn the chest up towards the ceiling. If you've got enough space, reach out through the right hand. And so we take a couple of breaths here, and you should feel, you possibly will feel, a bit of a stretch through that outer right hip. Excuse me, I think I'm going to sneeze. Oh, excuse me. Roll that right knee away from you to juice the stretch up a little bit. You can also imagine that you are trying to lift the right foot up off from the floor, up off away from the floor. Arrange those words in a way that makes sense. You're trying to lift the right foot up away from the floor, but it's not going anywhere. And breathe into that right-hand side of the rib cage. Good, release that. Come all the way back up. Right foot down, swap the legs. Bring the left knee up, left ankle up onto your right knee. And again, pause here if this is enough for your right hip, if it's already feeling a bit of a stretch, or you can juice the stretch up by lifting the right foot up off the floor, holding around the back of the right thigh, and gently drawing that thigh in towards you to work into the outer left hip. Once again, notice what is happening in your lower back. If you've just kind of turned yourself into a little turtle on its back and you've got no lumbar curve there whatsoever, back off out of the pose a little bit so that you can maintain that natural curve of the lumbar spine. You can still get a pretty good outer hip stretch unless you are really bendy, and maintain the natural curve of the spine. One more breath here. Keep that left foot flexed. Nice. And then bring the right foot to the floor. Keep the legs in that shape. Roll towards your right hand side so the left foot comes down to stand on the floor. Hold the left foot with the right hand if you can. Then turn your chest up towards the ceiling. Pause here and breathe. And again, we're looking for a bit of a stretch through the outer left hip. Keep that left knee rolling away from you. And you can, to juice it up, imagine that you are trying to lift the left foot up off the floor, but it's kind of stuck there with glue. And keep the left ribs nice and wide and broad as you breathe deep. Good, release that. Bring the knees back up to center. Once again, bring both knees up, hug them in. And then take both feet to the floor and straighten your legs out. Keep your hips where they are. Take both feet over to the right hand bottom corner of your mat. Cross the left ankle over the right. Now take your shoulders over to the right hand corner of your mat at the top. Take the arms up over your head. Hold your left wrist with your right hand and make yourself into a kind of banana shape. So feet are going off to the right, hands are going up and over and going off to the right. And you'll feel a pretty obvious stretch all the way down your left hand side. A couple of nice deep breaths here. Remember, we're trying to keep the stretch evenly spread. So you don't want one bit of you feeling it more than the others. Just connect to what's going on through the whole body and move to even it out if you need to. Good, then gently come back to center. Oh, and then take everything over the other way. So feet over to the left corner. Cross your right foot over your left. Take the arms up and over to the top left corner. Hold the right wrist with your left hand. And again, you can make yourself into as much of a bendy banana or not as you want to. Breathe deep here. Keep that stretch evenly spread through the whole right hand side. Remember what I said about breathing. When we twist, inevitably one lung is going to feel more accessible than the other. So just notice that, connect with it. And remember to make the most of the times when you are not in a twist, like downward facing dog. And then bring yourself back to center. Bring the knees up and in, hug them in. Good, then one way or another, bring yourself up to sit. You can have a little roll up and down to get there if you want. Another little seated pose, and then we will move on. Now you can either do this cross-legged with your right foot in front of your right leg in front of left, if that's fine for your hips, or if you want to get a slightly bigger stretch in the hips. If you've got tight hips, remember we are only just starting the practice. So if what I'm going to show you now is too much for your hips this early on, don't do it. but we're going to do like a double pigeon pose. So left foot is on the floor and you're trying to keep your shin parallel to the front of your mat. So the heel isn't tucked in towards your bum cheek. Then you take the right ankle and you stack it on top of the left knee. So it's kind of the same shape that we just did when we were lying down. Then you keep both ankles flexed so that the shins come down to kind of stack on top of each other, almost like the kind of arms in sort of Cossack dancing always makes me think of. Not that I know much about Cossack dancing, as is obvious, but the shins are stacked. So it's like double pigeon. Whatever version you're in, whether it's normal cross-legged or this one, inhale, sit up nice and tall. Remember, we use axial extension first, and then exhale, begin to walk yourself forwards first. Once you've gone as far forwards as you think you can, then you might begin to go down a little bit. My hips are super tight. So when I'm doing this double fire log thing, this is about as far as I can go. But however far down or not you are going, keep that lift through the whole length of the spine first before going down. Have a little shimmy from side to side, whatever version you're in, if that feels good. And then lift yourself back up. Inhale, reach up through the left-hand side. And then exhale, bring your left hand down to your right knee. Now, we did this last week, but I think there's value in repeating it. Right hand, bring it down. First of all, remember your pelvis can move. So let the pelvis twist just a smidge to the right-hand side. It might not even move. It might just be sort of the bone moving inside the flesh. Right hand, bring it to the bottom of your belly and smooth the belly flesh around to your right hand side. It won't stay there, but switch on the stuff on the inside to get that feeling. Then take your hand to your ribs and again smooth the ribs around. They might not stay there when you let go, but find that feeling on the inside. Hand to the chest and just smooth the flesh back. You might even reach the right arm out and then bring the right hand down behind you. Before you twist anymore, take an inhale and lift up through the top of the head, and then exhale, use the hands and maybe see if you can twist a little more, and then come back to center. Just take a little simple counter rotation the other way. Good. And then swap the legs. Oh. My disclaimer is, I went for a run at lunchtime today. Yes, I know, smug face. It was vile. Turns out, having 2 weeks away from running, 1 week also containing eating one's own body weight in bread, cheese and wine, means the first run back is really quite unpleasant. I mean, they're never pleasant anyway. So my hips are screaming at me even more than they usually are. You carry on. Don't mind my world of pain. Either sit cross-legged with your left leg in front now, or stack your fire logs so the right shin is perpendicular to the front of your mat. Heel does not tuck towards your bum cheek. Left ankle stacks on top of right knee. And your knees may not come all the way down. That's fine. Just sit wherever you need to sit. And if going forward in this is too much, stay up and just work on the hip mobility. But again, if you can, inhale, sit up nice and tall, get that axial extension through the top of the head. Then exhale, think of going forwards first. And then if you can go down, go down. But if, like me, your hips are having a word, going forward is actually quite enough because I can feel a whole lot of stuff going on. But I am trying to keep up and forwards. Resist the temptation to go soggy around the middle. Do not look to your belly button. It does not hold any secrets. Take a little shimmy from side to side if that feels good. And then with an inhale, come up to sit. So we're going to twist the other way. Inhale, bring the right arm up and get long. And then exhale, bring your right hand to your left knee. Again, we're going to do this just to set the foundation so that you can remember it once we start to move. Left hand to your, well, first of all, let the pelvis move, even if it's just a millimeter. Left hand to your left belly, smooth it around. Even if it doesn't stay there, switch the stuff on the inside to make it, well, to let it try and stay there. Then take your hand up to your ribs and smooth them around. Again, they may not stay, but try and switch the stuff on the inside to give them a chance of staying there. Finally, across the chest, smooth back towards your left shoulder. Maybe you artistically extend that twist by taking the arm out behind you, and then you can let the hand come down. Inhale before you finish the twist. Lift up once more, and then put the cherry on the cake by turning the gaze. And breathe. Good, then come back through center. Just take a simple little counter rotation the other way. And I'm going to do it with little whimpering as possible. Uncross the legs. Give them a little shake and work your way onto your hands and knees. Like I say, there's a reason why I call this real life yoga, you know, mostly so that I can get away with whimpering a lot. Hands and knees. A little bit of cat and cow. Inhale, spine dips down, heart pulls forwards, gaze goes up. Exhale, tuck chin, tuck tailbone, arch up through the back. Inhale into your cow. Exhale into your back. Add a few shimmies as you keep moving with your own breath. Remember those 32 bones in your spine, and see how you can move to try and move them as much as possible, or at least feel like you're moving them as much as possible. Good. And then when you're ready, come to stillness and find your first downward facing dog. If you're not quite ready for down dog yet, of course, you can always stay in your child pose for a bit longer. In your down dog, begin to give it a walk on the spot. But we're going to make the walk on the spot a little kind of bigger movement. So we'll do it together to begin with. Bend your left knee. Turn your right heel in on your right foot. Bend the left knee. And then let that left hip roll towards the floor. Keep pushing strongly down through both hands. Turn to look under your right armpit and feel long through the right hand side. And then come back to center. Good. Turn your left heel in just a touch. Bend the right knee. Now keep pushing down strongly through both hands, but let the right hip drop towards the floor. Turn your gaze. Get long through the left hand side. And then come back to center. Good. Look at the space between your hands, whether you're in child's pose or downward facing dog. Bring the feet in towards it. Soften your knees. Pause here for a moment with a soft hanging forward fold. And then keeping grounded through the feet, keeping the head heavy. With an inhale, roll yourself up and imagine kind of each vertebrae stacking on top of its neighbor as you roll all the way up and come to stand. Feet about hip width apart at the front of your mat. Ground the feet, roll the shoulders back and down, turn the palms. Just take an inhale and an exhale. Good. Inhale, reach up. Hold your left wrist with your right hand and take a little side stretch over to the right. Then inhale, come up. Swap the hands, take a little side stretch to the left. Good. Inhale, come up. Either repeat that or cross your left foot over the right. So it becomes a standing version of what we were doing lying down. And take a little side stretch to the right, depending on what your balance is like. And then come back up. Swap the hands, swap the feet. Take a side stretch to the left. Good. Uncross the feet, reach up through both hands. Exhale, soft knees, fold forwards. We're going to add the twists that we did last week. So hand comes to the floor. Bend the left knee, straighten the right. We're going to do it slowly to begin with, again, just to really establish that kind of 3-point twist. So bring your right hand to the bottom of your belly. Smooth the belly around the right hand side. Then do the same for the ribs. Reach underneath you and draw your ribs around. Try and keep that there. Smooth the flesh of your chest around, and then continue that movement by lifting the right hand up towards the ceiling. Turn the gaze if that's comfortable for your neck. Good. Then come down and swap. Bend the right knee, straighten the left leg. And again, use your hands. So left hand reaches around the bottom belly, as it were, and smooth bottom belly flesh around. Then do the same to the ribs. So you're kind of giving yourself like little mini adjustments. And then smooth the flesh of your chest open and across, and continue that movement and take the left hand up towards the ceiling, turning your gaze if that's comfortable. And then exhale, fold forward, soft knees. Now inhale, come up with a flat back. So push down through the feet, reach forwards and up with the hands. And exhale, bring the arms back down. Good. 2 more just like that. Inhale, reach up. Take a side bend to the right, either cross the feet or don't, it's up to you. Inhale, back up to center, cross the feet or don't, take a side bend to the left. Inhale, reach up normally. Exhale, soft knees, fold down. Left hand down, left knee bent. Inhale, right arm, reach it up. Can you imagine where that right hand would be smoothing the flesh around and make it happen without using the hand? Good. Exhale, bring it down. Right hand down, right knee bent. And again, twist, this time to your left, thinking of that kind of 3-point twist, or 3-stage twist rather. And then exhale, release, forward fold. Inhale again, push through feet, come all the way up. Exhale, pull the arms down, 1 more like that. Inhale, reach up. Side stretch over to the right. Cross the feet if you wanna. Inhale, back up. Side stretch to the left. Cross the feet if you wanna. Inhale, back to center. Reach up. Exhale, soft knees, fold down. You're going to take a forward folding twist to the right. So reach up with the right hand, bend the left knee. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, twist to the left. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, pull the arms down. Good, lovely. Into a sunny A. Inhale, full breath to take you up. Exhale, all the way down with the exhale. Inhale, halfway up. Lengthen the spine. Think of that axial extension. Exhale, take both feet back. Come to a high plank. Pause for a moment. Let's activate the core. Take an inhale. Exhale, push back, down dog. Inhale, forward, high plank. Exhale, push back, down dog. Inhale, forwards, high plank. Exhale, push back, down dog. Last time, inhale, forwards, high plank. Control your descent. all the way down to your belly. Inhale, little cobra, pull back with the hands. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. Pause here for a moment. Remember, enjoy the poses where you are not twisting, where you can breathe evenly into the ribs. And like I said earlier, you know, connect with the breath. Connecting with the breath is easier when you've had a moment of perhaps not being able to breathe into both sides of the lungs, if you know what I mean. So notice when it's even, like in your downward facing dog. But let's add a little bit of a twist now. So step the feet in just a touch towards your hands. And then confidently lift your left hand off the floor and reach back towards your right ankle or shin. And take a little twist and look under your right elbow. What is it? Armpit. Good. And then back to center. Pause for a moment. Confidently lift your right hand off. Reach back to the left leg, ankle, calf kind of area. Little bit of a balancing twist. And then back to center. Good. Bend your knees. Bring both feet into your hands. Inhale halfway up. Lengthen your spine. Soft knees. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, push down, come all the way up. Exhale, pull the arms down by your sides. Good. Some lunge sunnies. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, keep the spine long as you fold down. Inhale, halfway up, lengthen. Hands down, right foot back, right knee down. Push down through both feet and inhale, reach up. Good. Going to add our little twists here. So we're going to do an open twist first. So left hand forwards, right arm back. So remember, you're allowing the pelvis to move. Tricky thing here is you don't want the left knee to roll in. So left knee stays pointing straight forward. Right side of the pelvis can open because that's the way we're twisting. Good. Then bring the right hand down, both arms forwards, both arms up. Now we twist into a closed twist, which is a bit trickier. Right arm forwards, left arm down, and reach back. Again, if you can, think of twisting from bottom to middle to top. And then swoop left arm down, both arms forwards, both arms up. Exhale, hands down, step back, high plank. Bring knees down, chest down with control. Inhale, little cobra. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. Pause for a couple of breaths. Feel the joy of not twisting for 3, 2, and 1. Good. Take your right foot up in the air. Bend the right knee. Roll that right hip open. Good. Let the right heel be heavy towards your left bum cheek. Then step the right foot forwards. Let the left knee come down. Inhale. Push down through both feet. Find that connection with your feet to help build the foundation for the twist. Open twist first. So right arm forwards, left arm reaches back. Right knee stays going straight forwards, but let the left hip move back a little bit. Then think of the belly rolling back, then the ribs, then the chest, then the gaze. Then left arm down, both arms forwards, both arms up. We go the other way. Left arms forwards, right arm back. Find your grounding, then start to talk and do it at the same time. See if you can think of twisting from bottom of the belly, middle of the belly, across the chest, and maybe the gaze goes back as well. Good. Then gently untwist, both arms forwards, both arms up, hands down, left foot forwards. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, soft knees, fold down. Inhale, push down to rise up. Exhale, pull the arms down. Good, same thing, other side leads. Inhale, take it up. Exhale, forward and down you go. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, left foot down. Sorry, left foot back. Left knee down. Inhale, reach up. It's like a skipping CD, my brain, every so often. Right arm forwards, left arm back. Ground the feet. Let the pelvis move just a touch. And then just take a couple of breaths. See if you can let the belly turn, then the ribs, then the chest, and maybe take the gaze to look along the left arm. Then left arm down, both arms forwards, both arms up. Here we go the other way. Left arm forwards. And take your time to get into it, particularly in the shoulder. Turn from the belly. I've found with a lot of work in my twists, I've been overcompensating by opening the front of the chest and not starting the twist from down here, which is why I'm so keen on doing it now. Good, then untwist, both arms forwards, both arms up, hands down, left foot forwards. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, soft knees, fold down. Inhale, push down through the feet. Come all the way up. Exhale, bring the arms down. Good, bring your feet together if they're not there already. Inhale, reach up. Keep lifting the arms, but let your sit bones sit back and down. And imagine that you are sitting in a chair, but that you are taking your bum to the back of the chair rather than perching on the front of it. Bring the hands into a prayer shape in front of your breastbone. Inhale, find that lift through the spine, even if it's a bit trickier to access. Then exhale, take your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Let the left knee move forwards a little if it wants to. Gently push down through the hands, lift the chest up and away. Breathe into that twist to the right for 3, 2, 1. Good, bring yourself back to center. Untwist, inhale, reach up. Make the most of breathing comparatively easily. Then exhale, hands together. Once again, sit towards the back of that imaginary chair. Inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, take the right elbow over to the outside of the left knee. Allow the right knee to sneak forwards just a little bit if it needs to. Push down through the hands, lift the spine, lift the chest up and away from the hands. Try and keep that lovely lengthening through the spine. Another breath here. Good, then back to center. Reach up. Oh, be grateful you're not twisting. Exhale, fold all the way down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, hands down. Step the right foot back. Bring the right knee down. Inhale, reach both arms up. Good. Exhale, left hand to the floor. It's a lie. Left hand to your knee, right hand to the floor. Push down through both hands. Same principle as before. Twist from the bottom of your belly to the middle of your torso to the space across the front of your chest. So you lean back and you twist. Stay here if you want, or continue that opening across the chest by reaching the left arm up. Stay there, or tuck the toes of the back foot. Push through the back of the right thigh. Lift, twist, but keep everything long for 3, 2, 1. Good. Bring the left hand down, bring the right knee down. We're just going to add another sort of variation on that we've built on already. Inhale, take the right arm up. Use your left hand on your left thigh to keep it stable as you kind of get really long. Ground your right knee and reach the right arm sort of across and up diagonally. You may even kind of look down a little bit. Then take the right arm, the right elbow, as far across your left knee as you can. You might take a breath or two to kind of wiggle it in a little bit. Then, hands into prayer, push down through the left hand and lift the chest away from the hands. Anything that's in contact with the floor, push it down. If this is a bit too much, you can go hand back to the floor, left hand on the knee. Breathe. If you're feeling particularly brave, you might tuck the toes of the back foot under, and here, push back through the right heel, lift the back thigh strongly, and breathe for 3, 2, 1. Ooh, exhale, bring the right knee down, unravel yourself. Step the left foot back, come to your downward facing dog. Take an inhale and an exhale. Inhale, come forwards, high plank. Exhale all the way down onto your belly. Inhale, little cobra. Exhale, push back, down dog. Make the most of not twisting for 3, 2, and 1. Good. Inhale, right foot up. Bend the knee, roll the right hip open. Exhale, step the right foot forwards, bring the left knee down. Inhale, simple lunge, take both arms up. Exhale, hands down, step forwards. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, left hand down, right arm up, twist to the right. Exhale, right hand down, left hand up, twist to the left. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, all the way up, push down through both feet. Exhale, straight back down. Inhale, halfway up, long spine. Exhale, hands down, left foot back, left knee down. Here we go again. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, left hand down, right hand to your knee. So again, think of building the twist from the bottom to the middle to the top. If you need to stay here, that's totally fine. You stay here. You're keeping the spine long. Or reach the right arm up. Remember that right knee needs to keep tracking straight ahead. It's probably going to want to roll out. We don't want it to do it right now. So keep grounding the base of that right big toe. Stay here or tuck the toes of your back foot under, straighten the back leg. Push the back of your left thigh up towards the ceiling. Hug the hips, the outer hips. Hug them in towards each other. And breathe. She says in a high-pitched voice. Then bring the right hand down. Bring the left knee down. Right hand back on your right knee. Inhale, reach up. Feel how you need to find the length before you twist. So begin to turn. Use your right hand to kind of anchor this right knee. You might even think of like reaching up and across on a diagonal. And then how far over can you reach that left elbow? Take a breath or two to settle into it. Then bring the hands into prayer. Then take the right elbow up. Find your breath. You know it's going to be tricky. Settle into it and breathe. Ground the stuff that's on the floor. Lift everything else up. Stay here or tuck the toes of the back foot under. Lift the left knee away from the floor, but keep pushing through that back heel. Think of left heel going back, top of the head going forwards, back thigh lifting up to the ceiling for 3, 2, 1. Gently come down. Ooh, hands to the floor. Step the right foot back to your downward facing dog. Come forwards to a high plank. Come all the way down with control. Inhale, little cobra. Exhale, push back, downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here again to feel the joy of not twisting. 3 and 2 and 1. Good. Left foot up. Bend the left knee. Roll the left hip open. Step the left foot forwards. Right knee down. Simple lunge. Inhale. Take it up. Exhale. Hands down. Step the right foot forwards. Inhale. Long through the spine. Exhale. Fold down. Inhale. Push through feet all the way up. Exhale, pull the arms down. Good. Step out so that your feet are about wrist distance apart. So we're going to roll through our triangle pose. Again, if you've got a block handy, highly recommend that you grab it now. If you don't worry about it. So block if you've got it, feet about wrist distance apart. Turn your left foot in about 45 degrees. Turn your right foot out about 90. Heel is on or about same sort of line as the arch of your foot. Right hand, thumb and first finger, right hip crease. Ground the feet, switch the thighs on, switch your left bum cheek on. Now remember the first triangle pose we're going to do isn't technically a twist, but that same kind of manual adjustment that we've been working on in twists, I think is just as valuable here to think of. So it's like a little extra bonus for your triangle pose. So take an inhale. Exhale, thumb and first finger into your right hip crease and tip yourself out and down over your right leg. If you've got a block, I highly recommend you have your block to put your hand on, because it's good to have something to ground down into. Now, inevitably, you will notice that you will have everything will have rolled down towards the floor. So although this is kind of, I guess this is an open twist, really. So you want to roll everything away from the floor. So again, if it feels good to do so, get your left hand in there, it's your stuff, and have a little play with, well, how much can I roll that stuff up away from the ceiling? If you bring your block up higher, if you've got it, that gives you much more space to kind of play around with how much rolling open you can find. Legs are switched on, and then you might see if you can roll the chest open as well. Once you've rolled open, see if you can also lean back a little bit. Once you're comfortable, I say comfortable, then you might even see if you can take the block a little bit lower. But if that compromises everything, you can see that makes me kind of turn more down towards the floor again. Then today, I'm probably better off working up here, where I can maintain sort of the integrity of the pose, even though I'm not deep in the pose, whatever that means. Exhale, look down. Inhale, simply bring yourself back up. Good. We're just going to repeat that on the other side. I think sometimes it's good just to kind of workshop these poses a little bit more, because quite often we fling them into a flow and just don't always spend time kind of working out what we need to be doing in them. So block if you've got a block, right foot's in, she says falling over, right foot's in about 45 degrees, heel and arch, same sort of line. Excuse me while I rearrange my leggings. Thumb and first finger into the left hip crease, right hand on the right hip, legs switch on, right bum cheek switches on. Take an inhale, exhale, tip yourself out over that left leg, and then Bring the left hand down. If you haven't got a block, of course, you can lean on the leg. I just don't think it gives you as much of a solid base as leaning on a block does. And just be aware that you're not pushing down on your knee. Try and be above or below the knee. So here we are for our rolling opening again. Again, if you want to, get in there and move the flesh with your right hand. Have a little bit of an experiment. You can kind of keep doing like little mini rolls, as it were, and then take the right arm up. Take a couple of breaths. See if you can keep rolling open and then get a sense of leaning back a little bit from the middle of the chest. And of course, if looking up to your right hand is not comfortable for your neck, then don't do it. Look down. There's no extra points for misery in yoga. Take one more breath here. And then inhale. Bring yourself up. Good. Turn your feet the other way. One way or another, come into a downward facing dog. Brain freeze yet again. Now, again, we did this last week, but it's a good pose to do. So bring your chest forwards a little as if you were coming to plank, and step the right foot in as if you were doing as if your foot's kind of getting stuck on the floor. So step it in maybe like a third of the way, and then kick the right foot out underneath you. Keep pushing the right foot away and away and away until the outside of your right hip comes down to the floor. Top of the left foot can be on the floor. Right foot is out perpendicular or parallel to the front edge of your mat. And then you can turn the chest to the front of your mat as much as you like. And this is kind of a bit of a fallen revolved triangle almost. So you can stay up here if you like, or you can come down onto the elbows, or you might bring the chest all the way down if that feels like a fun thing to be doing. But you're still thinking of keeping long in the spine. You might even kind of pull the elbows back towards you a little bit and see how that kind of lengthens the spine. Keep the right toes flexed, keep pulling that right foot back towards you, and allow the belly to kind of, again, what can you switch on the inside to turn the left ribs down towards the floor. Good. Then inhale, bring yourself up. Get yourself back to a downward facing dog and take a breath. Because guess what? We do the other side. So bring yourself forward a little bit towards a plank. Step the left foot in just a touch. And then shoot it out to the left-hand side and slide yourself down so that the outside of the left hip is in contact with the floor. And remember, with all these twists, whatever variation of the pose you're in, some twisting one way may be easier than twisting the other way. So just because you can do sort of X level of deepness, for want of a better way of putting it, on one side does not necessarily translate to the other. So we are trying to connect at every opportunity and noticing if our ego is getting in the way. Are we connecting more with ego rather than the reality of what we need in the pose? So again, think of sending the chest forwards. You can come down onto your elbows if you need, or you can be, staying up here and trying to turn the belly down towards the floor. Keep the left leg engaged, keep the toes gently pulling back towards you. Another breath. Good. And then one way or another, unravel yourself. Come back to your downward facing dog. And again, just make the most of not twisting. Good. Bring your right knee to behind your right wrist. So we're going to come down into half pigeon. So your right knee comes to the floor behind your right wrist. Now, depending on how tight or open your hips are, will depend on how close your right foot is to your left hip bone. So if you've got super open hips, your left foot could be much closer to the front of the mat. So you've got more of a right angle. If, however, like me, you are a mere mortal, your right heel will tuck a little closer to the left hip. Top of the back foot pushing down onto the floor. And again, if you've got block, I highly recommend you play around with using blocks in your half pigeon, because it is quite a full-on pose. So it can feel quite nice to have a block just at the edge of your right bum cheek, or just at the edge of the bum cheek of the outer hip you are stretching. It can take it out of the knee a little bit. Anyway, whether you've got a block or not, it doesn't matter. Inhale, lift the heart, and then exhale. If you've got it in you, begin to come down a little. If you come down onto your elbows, wherever you are, pause. You can close your eyes, but again, I want you to think of keeping that spine long. So just for a moment, don't collapse down into a soggy heap. Pull the elbows back a little. Think top of the head going towards the end of your mat. And then bring your left hand to hold the front of your right knee. So you're resting down on your left forearm. Take your right hand off the mat a little. Now push your right knee into your left hand as the left hand pushes into the right knee. And see if you can just begin to find a little twist here. Just turning ever so slightly to the right, and you can use that right hand to support you on the floor. It's only a little twist, but you can feel it's a little more interesting in the right hip. Good, then bring yourself back to center. Remove your block if it's there. Lean towards your right bum cheek. Take all the way out of the left and bring the left foot all the way round so it comes to the floor outside your right thigh. Got that? So right, left, oh, I nearly confused everyone. Left foot is on the floor outside of right thigh. Ground that left foot well. Left hand to the floor behind you. Same principles, even though you're probably tired, don't let it all go yet. Inhale, find the length. Exhale, let the pelvis turn, then think bottom, middle, top of twist. Bring the right elbow to the outside of the left knee. Just take a little final twist to the left. Good, then release. Take a little counter twist the other way. Lovely, one way or another, make it back to your downward facing dog. You can roll over the ankles. Oh, she says ungracefully. Even it out in your downward facing dog. Then find your half pigeon on the left hand side. So left knee comes towards the back of your left wrist. Wiggle that right foot back away from you a little. And so you can probably see it better from this side. This foot, if I'm super bendy, this left foot could be up towards the front of my mat, and I do my pigeon with the left foot in this way. If I did that, terrible things would happen. So I have my left foot just back towards my right foot, my right hip a little. If you've got a block and you want to have a play with just wedging it towards the edge of your left bum cheek, now is a good time. Inhale, lift the heart and lengthen. Stay here if you need to stay here, or begin to bring yourself down, perhaps to your elbows. But again, don't go soggy in the middle. Keep a little bit of length through from the top of the head down to the tailbone. Notice if your mind gets drawn to wherever the most drama is. And then even it out. You know, we talk about evening it out through the pose. So even out the drama. Notice what's going on in your left thumb or your right big toe or your left earlobe. And then again, bring your right hand to hold around the front of your left knee. So you're resting on the on the right forearm. Take the left hand over a little. And again, push down with the hands and just take a very gentle twist. Push that left knee into your right hand as the right hand resists against that twist. It may just make everything a little juicier. And then come back to center. Remove the block. Lean to your left. Swoop the right foot all the way round and the leg. They are attached. And step the right foot down on the outside of your left thigh. Good. So one final twist. Right hand down behind you. Inhale, lift up through the left-hand side. Turn to your right. One final time. Let the hips move. Let the belly move. Let the ribs move. Be broad across the chest. Top of the head lifts up to the sky. Turn the gaze without cranking the neck. And then come back to center. Little counter rotation the other way. Uncross the legs. If you've got it in you to pop into another downward facing dog, I highly recommend it. If not, get yourself down to your favorite lying position. And of course, as you arrive, as you get yourself down there, tune in to what your body needs. Probably doesn't need any more twisting, but maybe it needs the knees hugging in, having a lovely roll around on your back. Maybe you take the knees around in circles. Maybe do a happy baby. It's a really nice symmetrical way to finish. But again, this is your opportunity to tune in, to connect. And if you're like, oh, heck no, get me into Shavasana now, you crazy woman, then do it. Get into your Shavasana. And once you are settled, you know the drill. Take some nice, big, deep inhaling in through the nose and sigh it out. Do that a couple of times. And again, just like when we started, if you can imagine letting go of stuff, let go of stuff with each exhale. Because the reality is, yoga, excuse the language, brings up some of our shit, right? This is what the practice is all about. To a certain extent, it is about facing the crap that we are hanging on to, that we are working around and with and through every day. So, you know what? Sometimes this may come as no surprise to you. Sometimes your practice is not full of joy and love and kittens and rainbows and unicorns. Sometimes you get to the end and you're not feeling particularly positive, and that's fine. Connect with whatever is there. Let go of it with the exhale, or at least let go of taking it so seriously with an exhale. You know, let go of thinking that any of this matters with an exhale. Whatever you can let go of, let it go. And then just let your breath settle into its normal pattern. And with your next exhale, allow your arms and your legs to grow heavy. On your next exhale, allow your hips and your pelvis to sink a little deeper into the mat. On your next exhale, allow your eyeballs to rest a little heavier in the eye sockets. Release any furrows from your brow and soften your jaw. On your next exhale, allow your whole body to sink a little deeper into the mat. But at the same time, feel the earth rising up beneath you, supporting you fully, allowing you to completely let go. Allow yourself to be here just a moment or two in silence. Stay exactly as you are. Take a couple of slightly deeper breaths. Begin to wiggle fingers and toes and rotate your wrists and your ankles. Slowly make any moves you need to gently roll to your right hand side. Then push into your hands, come up to sit with your hands in a prayer shape if that feels good for you. You can let the head bow and take a moment to remember the intention you set back at the beginning of our time together. Remember how you wanted to feel. Remember what you truly needed to connect with. Breathe life back into that intention by taking a big inhale. And finally, let it go with the exhale. Allow the corners of your mouth to lift into a smile and keep that on your face for as long as you possibly can. Namaste.